Welcome back, guys, to episode 2 of the Dragons-Fireside podcast. I'm calling this one Our Evil Robot Overlords. This episode is courtesy of my English professor. I'm hoping that eventually I'll put some stuff out that isn't mandated by a grade, but if a grade is what it takes to keep me motivated, so be it. I'm not joined by any guests or co-hosts. I'm not sure which one I prefer yet, so we'll give this a try, and I guess whoever watches can let me know which one is better in the comments or something. So without further ado, we'll jump right into it with my starting point, which, if we're giving academic terms, would be a thesis statement. Artificial intelligence isn't going to one day rise and overthrow humanity, or become our tyrannical evil overlords. The idea that AI will overthrow us is more of a narrative point than any actual threat. Science fiction writers use this narrative device to give us a thought-provoking lens into an alternative future. We'll start with the birth of AI. The idea of the thinking machine has been around for centuries. However, the term artificial intelligence only popped up in 1956 at a conference at Dartmouth College. The term was originally coined by John McCarthy as a group of technological philosophers, as I consider them, including people like Alan Turing, the inventor of the Turing test, which is a test designed to see if a machine can think like a human. But I digress. These individuals got together and discussed how to make machines intelligent. While the discussion of AI started as a quiet topic of philosophical debate among programmers and tech development icons, it has recently entered the public sphere and everyday conversation. The rise of the machines, a popular trope of both science fiction and predictive literature. But the difference between fiction and reality is that reality is often disappointing, or in this case, a relief. The notion that AI would be able to rise to overthrow us is more of a narrative device than an actual threat. Granted, it's a thought-provoking lens into an alternative future, and it does have its place. But outside of literature and other mediums, however, this idea is little more than gossip and superstition. Humanity would not allow one of our own creations, like AI, to progress to a point that it becomes a threat to the race as a whole. One reason to come to this conclusion is that AI doesn't understand what being human is. You can't make a real emotional connection with AI because it's just guessing, based on an algorithm. Jason Mars explains it better on another podcast called the AI Podcast. This fear that our own creations could one day surpass us almost seems to stem from the back of our minds and deep within ourselves, and has permeated the human psyche since the dawn of time. This fear is known as Kronos syndrome, or the fear of being replaced. It's a psychological phenomenon that touches upon the deep-seated anxieties that many individuals have about being supplanted by others. This could be as simple as the fear that your parents will love you less than when a younger sibling is born, or that a new co-worker will take your place in the company. And this fear can sometimes become a self-fulfilling prophecy. One of the earliest written examples of this idea is written in Homer's Iliad. Homer describes the tale of the Titan Kronos, of whom this condition is named, who, after overthrowing his father, became the new ruler of the cosmos, and as time passed on, became paranoid that his own children would rise up against him. In an attempt to control his own fate, he swallowed his children at birth, until, after being tricked by his wife, his youngest son Zeus grew up and rebelled against him, just as he had feared. Had Kronos not lived in fear of following in his father's fate and raised his children, they might not have usurped him and fulfilled the one thing he feared would happen. The question is then raised, why are we still developing AI if we have this fear? One conclusion that we can draw is discussed by Noreen Hertzfeld, who determined that as humanity is developing into a more atheistic mindset, we've replaced the idea of being creations and have moved on to creating something that we can relate to. If there is no God, then it means we are alone, as the only intelligent life in the cosmos. And in the want of companionship, we've turned to our own creations, who can simulate consciousness. In conclusion, AI will not rise up to overthrow us, and the fear is most likely a branch of the fear of the unknown. If we continue to develop AI and find a purpose for it to fulfill, we won't self-fulfill our own fears of becoming obsolete. Thanks for stopping by the Dragons Fireside, and thank you for listening.